Okay. I'll call this meeting to order. Ms. Craft, you take roll, please.
Sure. Mrs. Knapp, or Ms. Knapp?
Here.
Mr. Grumbles?
Here.
Mrs. Faust?
Ms. Faust indicated that she will not be able to attend this meeting.
Okay, next we have Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda we have public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to speak from the public? Okay. Next we have general announcements. Do we have any announcements?
Yeah, I have an announcement to make regarding my role as a trustee. So I'm going to be transitioning out of the trustee role effective mid-May. As most in the township know, I did accept a position towards the end of last year in the defense sector, and it's a pretty sensitive role. Working on some sensitive topics, and I'll leave it at that. Needless to say, it's a remote role, but I did elect to relocate my family, my wife and children. My home here was in the middle of being remodeled, and so it was far easier to work through that for the last several months without a house full of kids and my family in the middle of construction. We've since finished that, and so I'm ready to join my family and start fresh with them, which means I'll be transitioning out of here. I came into this position several years ago. Trustee Knapp and I actually have talked about why I was running. I called her to let her know I was running, and I didn't have her, and I had talked for years. And it wasn't so much that I had a problem with her personally, but I did believe that the township needed some disruption, that her taking a breath and letting someone else come in and experience what was going on, a new person, work through the challenges, and just to get a different perspective and see what would happen. And it turned out it worked. It didn't take very long to kind of identify where we had opportunities. I think the last 3 years have been a tremendous growing period for the township. We've got an amazing team of leaders. We've got a handbook. We've got values now. Our fire department is stronger than ever. We haven't had issues in the firehouse like we've had in the past. And I think that is, it's hard to have a positive culture when you're understaffed or when you're dealing with challenges from leadership. And I think we've nixed that. Trustee Knapp has come back. I supported her in the last campaign. Thought she was the best candidate for the job, other than myself. But an opportunity came up, and I couldn't pass it up. It's a life-changing opportunity for me to continue serving. The township, I believe, is stable. I think we have a very bright future, and I would encourage the people of Orange Township to continue to come together and support the group here. For people that have thought about serving the community, now's the time to do it. This job is all about service. It really is, and it's a hard job if you do it right. I believe that. Trustee Knapp works hard. I think Trustee Faust works equally hard. They're both extremely engaged and hardworking, and I was too. And it's not a job for somebody that's looking for self-promotion or self-advancement or to use it as a stepping stone. I think if you come in and do your job and you work hard, it could be a stepping stone, but the primary focus has to be on the core team here and the mission here of serving Orange Township residents. And I think for this board, it was. For this leadership team, it is. And I think, I feel comfortable stepping away after the hard work and the accomplishments we've had. One of the goals of mine was to establish a substantial JED program that will be finalizing in May. And so check that box. We built the team here, as I said, and check that box. And we've got a sound future ahead here. And again, I've never been a status quo person. I said that when I campaigned. I've built my career around being a change agent, going in and fixing things. I'm doing that now in the defense sector, and we'll continue that. It's just who I am as a person. So, not a status quo person, and I think this group is ideal. It is a status quo group. I wouldn't want to change anything about the team we have here, and so I'm excited to see the next person step up that's going to help continue the progress and serve this township. I also want to take a minute and especially thank our fiscal officer, Lisa Kraft, who, we weren't on the same page when we campaigned in 2019, but we put that behind us quickly. We've worked well together, and I hope the township recognizes in the current board and in our fiscal office the amount of talent we have. Our fiscal officer has done a phenomenal job, absolutely fantastic job of cleaning up the fiscal office, of being transparent, providing the board and our staff and our leadership here with the information that they need to do an effective job. But she also goes above and beyond with partnering outside of the township, bringing in resources that we need, and just keeping us on the straight and narrow. So, and she's a friend of mine. She's somebody I consider a dear friend and will forever value our friendship, value her as a human being. And I respect, absolutely tremendous respect for her skill set and dedication and how good she is at the job. I think she's the best fiscal officer in the state by far. I think she could do whatever she wanted to in that realm, whether it's a county treasurer type role, a state level role, whatever. The sky's the limit. That good of a fiscal officer, and I hope that the residents here support Trustee Faust and our fiscal officer in the upcoming election. I could talk for hours about my respect for Trustee Faust, Trustee Knapp, and our fiscal officer and our team here. I really could. But what I wanted to do today is to just make it known that I will be stepping down in the middle of May, and give people time to consider and talk to their families and think about if they want to serve this township, and getting those things organized. Once I do step down officially, the township will have 30 days to fill that position. There'll be some work this fall for that person to stay in office. But I hope the community will support who this board chooses, and I hope they can work well together as we have. We've had no conflict in almost, 2 years almost, or so, a year and a half.
Nothing we haven't worked through.
It's not been, we've not agreed every time, right? But we haven't had confrontation. We haven't had
No
issues.
confrontation, yeah.
And I'm proud of that. I committed to being able to do that. Trustee Knapp, I think, and if you reflect on the past and what she's done coming back to the township, it's indicative of, her desire to serve and where the true problems lied in the past. And she's done a great job working with this group. And I wish you well in the future, truthfully. And if there's anything I can ever do to help the township, you all have my phone number. You have my email. I'll be here. So, I'd pick up the phone and call. But that's really it. Our township leaders, department heads are phenomenal. I can't see enough about them. If you look at our Parks Roads Department, you look at our Fire Department, our HR, what we've done there, literally every aspect. Our staff is recruited throughout the township sector because of what they've been able to accomplish. And that's an honor to work with people of that caliber that are setting the tone and establishing the bar for those roles. So thank you. And I'm really proud, too, that our fire department has implemented a program of whole health, of tearing down the stigma of mental health and allowing folks to go and take care of themselves and talking about it. The year before I started, we had a suicide in the firehouse. That's terrible. It should never happen. and we're fixing the culture there and supporting our team across the board, 360 support. And so, Chief, I appreciate everything you've done there to be an accessible leader, to be to demonstrate leadership to that team and turn that culture around, boost the morale. It's really incredible if you look at the transformation in just a few years you've made in the fire department. And I hope the community and I know the team here will continue to support the fire department, but I hope the community will too. We've got some things coming up, and I want to stick around to talk through those with the community before I depart. I owe that to the team here. I helped contribute to that discussion, and so I'll finish it up before I take off. I'm not going to leave you hanging there. And yeah, that's it. If I can answer any questions for the residents, feel free to reach out. And thank you for this opportunity. It's been an honor and a privilege. And as I said, when I feel like there's not a lot of hard work or trouble to fix, that kind of thing, I'd be ready to move on. I'm not a career politician. I have no desire to be a politician. I'm going to continue to be a servant, put flagpoles up, advocate for Save a Warrior, and serve the country through the defense sector. That's it.
Well, thank you very much for the information. I'm sorry to see you go.
Well, thank you.
It's been a good, 2 years, year and a half.
That we worked together? Yeah, about a year and a half.
Yeah. Wow, good shoes to fill. What will your last day be then?
May 18th.
All right. Thank you very much for your service.
Thanks, Ben. You have sacrificed a ton, both financially and from a family standpoint for this community. I don't think people really understand what you've been dragged through. And we know that. We appreciate it. You have gone above and beyond for Orange Township, and you will be missed. I will miss our talks and everything else. I'm not prepared for this conversation, so we'll talk later.
Yeah, we have a few weeks to put the thoughts.
I am also not prepared for this conversation, but Ben, as always, thank you for your service. I would definitely not be here today if it wasn't for you and your encouragement and motivation for me to continue my career and develop here. I also think that the team I love our team, to be honest, and it's because of you guys here that we can all work together and move things along and do a lot of good for our community. Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, after that.
So is that the day of a meeting or?
Yep, it'll be
The day after.
the May
Okay,
3rd
perfect.
meeting. I have a family engagement commitment, but the May 18th meeting I'll be here.
You'll be here. Okay,
That'll be
good.
my last meeting.
Are there any other announcements?
I think I could beat that.
Me either. Yeah, the big one. Sorry, I have a little bit of a recovering from a cold or something. Let's see, are we going to executive session first?
Yes.
Okay. Next we have an executive session. Resolution 23-116, enter into executive session. I make a motion that the board enter into executive session for a conference with an attorney for the township concerning disputes involving the township that are the subject of pending or imminent court action. Those invited to attend the executive session are Ms. Kraft, Ms. Bonnie, and Julie, legal counsel, right? And anybody else? That's it.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
All right, we're back on.
I make a motion to return to regular session resolution 23-117.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Julie, do I have to read this whole resolution?
Just read it. Just the title. Thank goodness. Okay.
Don't need to read it.
Huh?
Don't need to read it.
Read what?
The resolution.
I can read it, but it's just the title.
Yeah. Just part and bold.
I can read it.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve resolution 23-118, a resolution approving a settlement agreement with Wesley W. Mayer in Delaware County Court of Common Pleas case number 20 CVH 100436, and authorizing the Board of Township Trustees to execute the agreement on behalf of the township.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes? And let's see here. Is that the only resolution for that, right?
Yep.
Okay. And just to explain what that is, Mr. Mayor had sued the township about a lost record, and a few years back, before my time, even though it did involve a situation from when I was here, not the record part, but part of the lawsuit, and he has agreed to resolve that and settle for $2,000. Michelle, is that the best way to describe it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll be glad to see that taken care of. Okay, let's see here. Okay, next we have consent agenda.
Yes, we just have one item, and then now under the consent agenda.
Okay, are there any questions?
No.
Let's see. So is it 23-119 is next?
And 23-120. Yep.
Oh, did we add on a resolution?
120 is the then announce.
Okay. Or do
They're
we,
both the consent agenda.
The settlement was on there, so the numbers are correct.
okay, so what about, do we approve the electronic record?
Mm-hmm.
It's 119, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I make a motion to approve resolution 23-119, approving the electronic record of the proceedings from the regular trustee meeting held on April 5th, 2023.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. I make a motion to approve resolution 23-120, approving purchase orders, then and now purchase orders, and blanket purchase orders as listed.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. And Ms. Kraft, this $15,000 is for the audit.
Yeah. Yep. We had it budgeted, but we didn't know the exact amount. We had it appropriated, but we needed to put it to a
Is that the
PO.
total amount? For now?
Yeah. Yep.
No,
We've got a check right now for like $6,000. So.
Okay.
And the audit is complete, so they should be circling around pretty soon to schedule an exit meeting.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well.
that seemed kind of quick. Okay, next we have fire report chief.
Good afternoon, board. Today I just have a couple resignations to go through. First one, unfortunately, is to accept resignation of our fire inspector, Craig Coleman. Craig Coleman's been with the department for 23 years, and he took another job doing this same thing as fire inspector in where he resides. So it's a good thing for him. We're excited for him. He's been a real asset to the department before I was here, but also since I've been here. One thing I will say about Mr. Coleman is that he always impressed me. I've been on 2 fires with him, and the way he took care of the people afterwards, getting with them, making sure that they had understood everything that was going to happen, what they needed to do, who they needed to reach out to, and just the support he showed and the way he talked with them and led them to, it was really a good thing to see. So we will definitely miss him. He is heading to Washington Township, so we're excited for them. They're getting a real asset, but we hate to see him go, and especially after 23 years of service here. Next is a resignation of one of our part-time firefighter. Braden Coffin, unfortunately, he wanted to move south and he decided to take a job in Memphis, Tennessee. So he is down there and will be working with the Memphis Fire Department. So excited for that for him. And then the next resolution is to amend Christopher Warren. The original we had was on the 20th. However, that went into another pay period. He was end up leaving a little bit early to get down to Georgia to take a job down there doing a med flight. So we had amended from the 20th to the 18th of April was his final actual day.
Any question? Okay, make a motion to approve resolution 23-121, regretfully accept resignation of Fire Inspector Craig Coleman.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Make a motion to approve resolution 23-122, regretfully accept the resignation of part-time firefighter Braden Coffin.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Resolution, I make a motion to approve resolution 23-123, amending resolution 23-105, resignation date of full-time firefighter paramedic Christopher Warren.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
And next we have the fiscal office report.
Yep. So just the March bank reconciliation numbers. We ended at the end of March, we got our first half property tax installment payment. So that made a nice impression on our ending cash balance. So we were up to $30,535,320.42. Investments of about $25.5 million of that. So we're keeping the rest as in kind of working capital or operating account. Fund balances are $8.4 million is in the general fund, $3.2 million in roads, $8.4 million in fire, and $5.9 million in parks. As of expenses through March 31st, $3.7 million, and revenue at $7.5 million. And I do not have the first quarter Delaware County Foundation balance yet. So this is still reporting the balance of $90,492.72 as of February 28th. Any questions?
I have none.
Okay, great. The next thing is, and Lisa, I'm not sure if they received these letters during your time or not, but we get these audits from the City of Columbus. They use a third party to audit their Bureau of Motor Vehicle license tax and local permissive tax. And anybody that, where Orange Township might have gotten the funding when it's really due to Columbus, it should have been paid to Columbus. They audit all that information. And this year's results are license tax of $11,926.21 will be going back. And for local or permissive tax, $13,092.50. So in total, about $25,000 that will be deducted from from a future date as far as our tax settlement that we would get for each month.
It's deducted or added?
Deducted. So this is overpayment to
Oh.
Orange Township. So what I found, because I got this last year and called and talked to the lady, and it looks like it's still the same address types, like the same streets that we had last year. So I'm guessing something's wrong in the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles database as far as giving us the money and then having to give it back. So we're contacting them to see if we can get some corrections on their end so we don't have this next year.
Are they annexed areas probably?
Yeah, it's a lot of that area. Most of the areas over there by, where Pet Suites is?
Yeah.
The apartments behind there. A lot of that area, they pay to Orange Township, but really should go to Columbus. So that's where a lot of these addresses are, is right on the fringes of Orange Township.
Back
So-
in the day, you would have to actually verbally give your township when you were doing it.
Not anymore.
I made the mistake of saying Powell and it was Orange Township, and I got in big trouble for that.
Yes. There you
Much better
go.
now.
So anyway, so that'll just come out of, it'll be, applied against a future, we don't do anything, they just deduct it from a future payment. Okay, so just providing visibility to that. Hopefully we can get some of these addresses changed so it doesn't continue to happen. That's it.
Great. Okay, next we have the administrative report, Ms. Bonnie.
Yes, I just have one item under the report, and this is in regards to a petition to vacate a portion of Township Road. So when you see on the template, this is the plat that we're working off of, but I'll show you the aerial. I think that makes it a little easier to understand. Let's see. So the Northeast Unitarian and Universalist congregation is doing some improvements to their site, and they have asked us if we would be willing to vacate this portion of the road for their, I believe it's parking improvements. As far as from a township perspective, we don't find any concerns from staffing. I mean, again, it's less of a road we have to maintain, and the process is in front of you today. So the trustees would pass this resolution to vacate the portion, and then it would go to the county commissioners for final approval. Is that just this is new for me?
So by statute, so after the trustees adopt this resolution authorizing the vacation of the road, the township will notify the commissioners and the engineer. The commissioners are required to hold a hearing within, I think, 60 days of receiving that notice. And if they don't hold a hearing, then it's automatically vacated. But it's a pretty run-of-the-mill statutory process. Obviously for something, and this isn't uncommon for a situation where it's a very old public right-of-way that's not really used for much of anything, and it's just a matter of almost cleanup.
So, how much acreage is that? Is it part of it, just part of an acre?
This, where do we draw a line? Try to measure. I mean, it's a pretty small piece. This is going to be very rough, but I will try my best. So it's 0.10 of 363 square feet.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
But it's very small. Like I said, it goes in. This road of ours goes into their property, and this is an easier process, from my understanding, since the church surrounds the entire area, so we don't have to deal with multiple property owners.
Yeah.
And this is in Lewis Center Village.
So it becomes theirs after this, right? Are there any questions?
No.
Okay, make a motion to approve resolution 23-124. Resolution to petition the Delaware County Board of Commissioners to vacate a portion of Township Road.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
And that's all I have.
Nothing under old business or nothing under new business? Nope. Okay, make a motion to approve resolution 23-125, meeting adjournment.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Okay, meeting adjourned.